Skyy Moore is gone. The Chiefs have traded him to the San Francisco 49ers, who are going through a lot of injuries right now. Suspension, Demarcus Robinson, 3-game suspension. Juwan Jennings hurt. Brandon Ayuk's hurt. So they have a lot of injuries in that wide receiver room. So it makes sense for him to go to a place that, it needs receivers right now. And the Chiefs have traded him to the Niners, and they will be swapping 6th and 7th round picks in the 2027 draft, JD. So I see a shock face right now, but what do you make of this move by the Kansas City Chiefs?
Skyy's gone. We traded him.
It's gone.
Oh man. Oh no. No. What do I make of this, man? I tell you what, I think this might be the best for both parties. The Chiefs have, all they've done is love Skyy, put their arms around him since he's been here. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champ with us, got a couple of rings, and he was pertinent to those getting to the Super Bowl. Okay, he contributed in a lot of different ways, and it wasn't just some of the catches, but also to some of the blocking. And I know what people like to try to remember about Skyy Moore was the drops or his struggles and whatnot. And the thing is, he's more than just that. He is, and no pun intended, but when somebody struggles in anything, you want to see how they're going to be able to handle it. And so I think for the Chiefs, they know they had a talented receiver in Skyy Moore. Okay. What he did up there in Western Michigan wasn't a fluke. It wasn't. We know he had great hands. He ran great routes. But sometimes when it ends up happening, we could get into our own way. That's what ends up happening. So that being said, I wish nothing but good things for Skyy Moore. And said when I was here, I'm always going to be a supporter of Skyy Moore and everybody who's on the team, pure and simple. And so I do wish him well. I think this new lease on maybe going out there to San Fran might do him good. I think it will. Sometimes you need a new environment, just a new start to try to get your head back on right. I think it might have been one of the things. I think this might help him get his career back on where it needs to be. Okay. And I get it. I get the pressures of what this entails, playing in this NFL, obviously playing for the Chiefs, being Super Bowl champions, and of course the demands of it. They were saying it last night, like one of the worst things that could possibly happen. One of the great things, even worse things that could happen, is the Chiefs winning Super Bowls and having the success that they have, because then the standard goes up, not just for the players, but also for the fans. The fans in themselves, as soon as something goes wrong, a guy's not any good, the guy's a bust, you want to get rid of him. He's a bum, he's trash, and all the disparaging things they could talk about people. And to me, I find that really insulting. For me, as a former player, I think it stinks. I think it's ridiculous on my part. And look, and everybody got their opinion about things, right? Hershey's Tar Kiss. That's what it is. Everybody has them. I'm just taking my perspective from a former player. And, his teammates was trying to hold him up as much as possible. Andy and those guys was holding him up as much as possible. When you see a guy with your brother who is struggling, you always want the best for him. And somebody who's not invested into a player like Skyy Moore, like Andy Reid, we were talking, somebody asked me last night on the show what Andy Reid and Dick Vermeil had. And I said the one thing that they have in common for sure is that they care about their players. They care about people. So I do hope this is a fresh start. But like I said before, I wish this man nothing but the best. I hope he goes out there and tears it up. I hope he does. Okay. And everything in my being, everything I feel, I'm still pushing for the guy to be successful. 1,000%. And, sometimes people get off of it. I seen somebody on Twitter when I was talking about it, the sympathy you have for him and this and that. Well, I'm going to tell y'all this. Okay. And this is where I'm going to bury myself a little bit, myself. See, Skyy Moore was a 2nd-round pick. I was a 2nd-round pick in 1996 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Injuries happened in my career. I didn't catch as many balls as I wanted to catch. Had a lot of demand and pressure on me playing that position. I know I went in, I tried to demand to get the ball thrown to me. It was a lot of different things out there. But, injuries happen. I had 2 knee surgeries up there, tore my PCL in the back, MCL, my meniscus, bone on bone. I mean, you name it. And so 1999, Andy takes over. Andy's my coach. Had a really good conversation with Andy. We had some issues as far as like with the tender, when you sign your tender for your 4th year and stuff. They did everything I wanted to do. And so me being hurt, I couldn't really get out there to training camp because I was still hurt, just physically. And so during that time in 99, training camp, I got released. Andy released me. Okay. And me and Andy had a great rapport. We talked about and discussed it. But long story short, it took me to sit out 99 to get my body together, get my mind together, get my soul, my spirit, and all those things back together, because I lost confidence in myself. I lost confidence in my abilities. I lost my being of who I was in the struggle. And it's a difficult place to go play in Philadelphia. If you don't know anything about it, Philly was probably one of the most volatile, acidic places to go play as a player, because, the media up there just tears you up. I remember when I came out to Kansas City, I thought everybody out of Kansas City was kittens compared to what it was up there in Philadelphia. But I struggled. And I remember how it felt like just the whole going in, we weren't winning, we having a struggle just everywhere. Had bitterness, hated going to work, the job and all that felt. And I think what people don't understand, people don't realize that, the glitz and glamour, what comes with this job, you make good money, but there's a lot of pressure in that too. It's huge pressure. Pressure I don't think other people realize. When they kind of put you on a pedestal, you put yourself on a pedestal, you kind of build yourself into being what you are. And when that all gets taken away from you, and I was just like, I got to sit that down. I lost myself. In 99. And it took that year to really find out who I was, to the point, the disappointment I had, the pressures that was on top of me, that really brought me to a dark place. I couldn't watch football that entire year. I was just destroyed physically. Use the word depression and all those different things. I didn't, at the time, I knew, I was a bitter person. I'm not a bitter guy at all, but for how things happen and your expectations, and it didn't happen the way that you wanted to, after having really success when I first got there, starting and all of that, and then being hurt like twice, was really tough, especially for a young guy. And so when I say a dark place, I'm talking about I had thoughts of like, is it worth it? Kind of, ending it all. And so what I seen myself in Skyy Moore. And when I seen also too, the boos and the hate and all of this trash and stuff like that, how people talk about him, brought back memories about just the hate. Almost when people want to see you fail. Sometimes you lose a little faith in people, but also too, what the worst part is, sometimes you lose faith in yourself. And so this was a point where God came into my life. And with the greatest thing that possibly happened, when I thought I let myself down, let my family down, and everybody else down, felt like I was a failure, couldn't do the things I wanted to do because people were just looking at me as a football player, and that was it. I had a family, all those different things. I felt like a big disappointment. And so when I got into where God knocked on my door, he released me from it. And I realized then that he made me Jason Dunn before I ever decided to become a football player. And that was the greatest thing that ever happened to me to know. And it felt like, when I'm telling you, like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders. Because it wasn't about having to prove myself to others that this is all I was to be. And so when God showed me that, it gave me a whole new lease on life. And it changed me fully. And I thank God for it. I thank God for just coming into my life and just really get me to a place to say, hey, you find whoever you are. It doesn't matter how many balls you catch, how many things you tackle. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is knowing that I made you. You're mine. And all the people out here are mine. And so all the boos and all that stuff disappeared, it dissipated. I couldn't see anything else but just the glory. And so I remember asking God, I said, if I have another chance and opportunity at this thing, I'm going to take it for what it's worth. I'm not going to take another play or practice or any of those things for granted. Not one thing. And I'm going to take it with a different mindset, knowing that in all my errant self and all those different things, man, God loved me more than anything else. And that was the only love I needed. So at that point, the boos didn't touch me, couldn't hurt me. As far as like my worth wasn't wrapped up in being a football player, NFL football player, or being this and that. And it was, being wonderfully made and shaped in his image, Imago Dei. And so for me, when I talked about Skyy Moore, that's what I meant, the depths of me. Because I seen a guy that was struggling. I knew he was dealing with. And what the thing was, a lot of people just don't know. What they see, Marcus, is they see guys making a lot of money. They see things happening to guys. Oh, well, he's got the flashy this, he got the flashy things. You know how many people I know and have known, they got plenty of money, millionaires that are empty inside, that are battling themselves? How many people we have heard that, like the crash market, and, when they lose things, they money and all these different things, they take themselves out because there's no hope left. Because in this society where people try to tell you this is all who you are, that's your only purpose, it's the only thing you can serve is this, right? And then, of course, people might hear this and, oh man, JD, you might want to hear that. He still got to do his job. Sure, he does. He does. Guess what? I'm a root for him wherever he is, just like I'm a root for you wherever you are. See, I realize that's who God made me to be. Absolute G-Pick. Money cannot buy you happiness. It can provide you with a lot of different things, but happiness is one of those things that can be fleeting. I have several conversations with guys in the NFL, not just the NFL, but other occupations. And so when you lose faith in yourself and confidence and all these things, and you feel like this is all you are, that's a tough thing to swallow for people to deal with. So I wish Skyy Moore well. Like I said before, anytime I see anybody struggle, whoever it is, I'm going to try to pick them up because that's who God made me to be. But more importantly, if we just get it to the organic part of it, if he's wearing the number for the Chiefs, man, shoot, why not give him your cheers? Because I tell you what, man, you come on this show, you come in front of JD, you down and out, you ask for my support, I'm going to give it to you. See where you are. I'm going to meet you where you are. That's what we should do. So we can be happy for Skyy Moore. Hopefully this is going to be something for him that he moves forward with himself and his life, that all I look for right now is just good things. And if it doesn't happen, he's going to be all right. He's going to be fine with me. And I hope he knows that. And I hope he knows that he's just not a receiver catching footballs. He's not a sideshow or just an entertainer doing this. He's more than that. He's a son. He's a friend. He's a teammate. And he's a man. I think for all of us, man, we can learn a little bit from that in the struggle. So I didn't know what I really wanted to talk about this, but I said, you know what? I don't mind telling this story. I really don't. Because if anything, what happened, I told Andy this. When I was up at camp, I gave Andy a big old hug and said, I love you. I said, man, you remember when, as a young guy, and we were just talking through the young, him starting, me coming in, and, like all of this time, he's able to see my grandson, all these different things. And I'm sitting there imagining, man, what could have happened if I thought that's all it was? I'll let y'all figure that out. So and I told Andy, thank you. And that thank you meant even more to that. We had a conversation about that. I needed that. I needed to take that time off, the 99, to come on to Kansas City Chiefs. Gunther Cunningham himself called me up. I tried to get the Chiefs twice, 2 years in a row. I actually went out to Kansas City. When I got cut, I went to Kansas City. Left, was going to be signed. Knee swells up like a daggone cantaloupe. And I had to call him and say, man, I told my agent, said, look, man, let him know, man, I'm not going to be able to play this year. There's several teams like that. But, true. I found my way. And guess what? When I got to Kansas City, I felt a city that embraced me, and beautiful people out there. Beautiful people. Even in the struggle that we went through during those years and stuff like that, what I appreciated the most, even with the ones that was there, was they stuck with the team. They stuck with them. So part of the problem, what I see now, is these Johnny-come-latelys that see the Chiefs just winning right now, and they think, oh, okay, this is what is expected. This is what it's always been. And it's not. They have no context. The history what the struggle has been. And a lot of y'all out there know what it is. Y'all done been through it. Y'all done suffered and seen it. Suffered in the way, just whatever that is, that meaning. But I say for guys that do suffer, that struggle is real. Not just for guys and players. This is for everybody out here. I'm speaking to everybody that's hearing my voice right now. Struggle in life is real. And part of what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to share some of that burden with each other. If we can unload it somewhat to help somebody out, let's do it. Let's do it. So with that being said, man, I'm just going to finish that story, Marcus. I know it's not really where it wanted to go, but that's where my heart led it to be, to talk about that. And I tell you what, it's more than just football. And you're going to get more than just football on this show sometimes. So if you're tuning in, you're sitting over, you didn't listen, this is what you're going to get, because this is who I am. So love you guys out there. Love you.
Love it too, man. Thanks for sharing that. I know it's very deep, and I know very, obviously, very personal. So, and very deep. And I hope Skyy Moore, I will clip this, and I hope Skyy Moore gets to watch this to realize, like that, while he is gone on his way to San Francisco, like, he does have people that do support him and did see and saw him. You saw him and you empathize with his story and what he was going through. And we wish him the best.
Yeah. Shoot, just wishing the best, man. Absolutely. So,
yeah. And one thing too, I know you kind of mentioned it, but like, I know there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna focus on the drops, the fumbles, the muff punts, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, when we look back at the Chiefs dynasty in 30, 40 years from now, when you are, showing your grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren, when they watch the Chiefs run, you're not gonna be able to watch the Chiefs run without seeing Skyy Moore's touchdown that he had in that Super Bowl game. So no matter any kind of bad you want to pick out, there's going to be one thing that we'll remember is the touchdown that he had against the Eagles. So, not bad for a 23-year-old kid.
No, man, shoot. Remember the bright moments. You know what I'm saying? What he had. Shoot. I get it. Hey, remember those, right? The man's, moved on and how they wanted to do it. Hey, Godspeed. I wish this man well and everything. Every single second of the day. Wish you well. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
All right, well, we hope you guys enjoyed that story from JD. It's deep down stuff. I'm seeing a lot of you guys on the chat here saying it's why you watch our show, and yeah, it's the real deal, guys. The raw stuff behind the curtain of what the players go through. They're not just the dudes who play on Sundays. There are a lot more than that.
Yeah, you're not robots, man. We be robotic. We want to be perfect. We don't want to drop a pass. Romeo was saying that none of these guys, nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants bad things to happen to you. It ain't like he's knocking balls down just to not, okay, I don't want, shoot. And sometimes the pressure gets to you. And I remember just the pressure gets, shoot. Hey, it's all right. Hey, clean slate, right? Let's get it. Clean slate.
Yeah, and that could pay off dividends for him as well, to go to a different environment, start fresh, the new fan base that doesn't have this built up stuff, second round pick. That's gone now, right? Let's go to a new place. You can start fresh and be a guy over there, and we'll be rooting for him.
Oh yeah,
and you have an opportunity too with all the injuries they have in that wide receiver room. So there you go.
Yeah, man. It's shoot. That's how these things work out, right? So blessing in disguise, right? Got crowded here. It's going to be tough for him to go ahead and make it. Obviously, with the guys that's playing well, okay. And shoot, we got to celebrate the guys that's doing it. I mean, this is the production business. It is, right? Shoot. Hey, man. And the best man wins. How it is. Hey, that's how it works. That's how it works.
And I find it interesting, right? And I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. So he has a rough game last week, the 2 drops, and all of a sudden, the last touch he gets in Kansas City is a punt return with 90 yards to the house or whatever it was. If that doesn't happen, does he have? Do you think he still gets traded today? Do you think that if he never has that punt return for a touchdown, does he get traded today and just becomes a guy who's cut with the 53 in a couple of weeks, or is that? I mean, we talk about things happen for a reason, right? His last touch, so he went from his value being at an all-time low to all of a sudden, oh man, 90-yard punt return. Like, oh man, this guy he does have flashes. There is the flash right there. It's like, I mean, if that doesn't happen, does he get traded today? That's, I guess, my question.
Yeah, probably still. I mean, he still have value. I mean, look, when teams see, okay, like film doesn't lie, okay. I mean, he was a terror up there, Western Michigan. They evaluate he runs a good route. He had great hands. I don't think anybody, disagree with that. Scouts and all this, not at all. So that is still that. And so if it's something like a team is like, hey man, like, shoot, we could use a guy like this. And I'm sure, like I said, Andy, Nag, and those guys, like, look, you're getting a good guy. Okay. Has some struggles, but maybe this will help him get to where he needs to be. And so teams are like, yeah, okay, shoot. Yeah, let's take it. If they're hurting and the door opens up for an opportunity for a guy to go play, absolutely. So they still would have probably did it. So even without the punt return and stuff like that, yeah, why not? Why not? He's got experience in the NFL, playing games. That's what you want to be able to get, So he's got, catches. He's played in the Super Bowl. He's been on the Super Bowl team. He understands what the standards are and all those different things. It's a little bit tough for him. Okay. A little tough. So I hope he has a better, out and out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mentioned this before you came on, really. Mike Brennan says it here. Plus, he was always seemed to be putting in the time to improve. I mean, every Texas workout, there was never a time where like, oh, where's Skyy Moore? He was always there. He was always there at the extra stuff, always putting the extra work. And like, that's a guy who was a hard worker. I mean, like, he was always around. You always saw videos of him working out, either with Bobby Strapp or on his own. He was always around Pat, always just trying to be better. And like, I mean, what more do you want from your play as a fan and our fans in the chat? Like, whether he was play up to his expectations or not, he still did the work and tried his ass off to be that guy. It just didn't click for whatever reason.
That's the thing about it. It's Sure, you can say the things on productivity and stuff like that, but to put it, the effort and the time, there was no question what you get. When I was up at a camp, and when I see Xavier in there catching footballs, nobody else around, you know who comes out there with him? Skyy Moore. They both out there catching. And so, you know how y'all was talking about having, you know, like a mental block and things like that. You could put so much pressure on yourself that you try not to mess anything up, that, you know, you get tight, you do all these things, and it just, you're doing too much to yourself, and you're actually doing yourself a disservice than you are with, you know, getting better, really. So,
and even up until his last game with us, right? So the Seattle game happens. The next day, I get a DM from our guy Deshaun Hammonds at the boxing gym, who's in the boxing gym with him the day after they get back from Seattle. Skyy Moore. I mean, so it was never ending work for the guy. So that tells you how good of a work ethic he had. Whether he put it all together on the field, that's another thing. But as far as a guy who actually tried his ass off to be that dude for us, you can't knock it. I mean, based on everything we've seen from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to get to a guy.
Godspeed. Yeah.
Good luck in San Francisco, buddy. We'll be rooting for you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.